All right. So welcome everyone to the legal working group call. So we can start with a with a intro question. What we always have in our call. So what are your plans for the weekend? So let me. You want to start, Griff?
Sure. So there's like a fun event. I'm in this tiny town called Vilcabamba in southern Ecuador, and one of my friends is having a birthday party. So it'll be like a fun potluck. We'll go to the market, and then we're gonna make some food for the potluck and go to this party. It's a dress-up party. I'm gonna dress up like Santa, and that's gonna be fun. And then take and then go on like a nice long hike on Sunday. That's my plan for the weekend. I'll pass it to you, Livia. What's your plans for the weekend?
I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, explore around Salvador. I still feel like I'm in a new city, so it's always fun. And I have two friends here. Oh, Kat is also here. Remember Kat? Yeah, so we're having a good time. And I'll pass to Teresa.
Well, like my plans for the weekends are basically to rest. I'm actually pregnant. I'm recently pregnant, so the doctor just told me like, okay, so you cannot like ride horses or exercise or anything for like 15 days. So I've been like for the past week, and the next week I'll be just like in my house relaxing. So
Congrats!
thank you, and I'll pass it to um Bonjour.
Hi everyone. Are we doing intros right now? I just hopped on.
Yes. Welcome, Bonjour or Bonjour.
Yeah, did you?
Bonjour.
So yeah,
Yeah. Welcome to the
I
legal
missed that.
call. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
the intro. The intro question
Go
is, what are your plans for the weekend? And yeah, maybe you can also introduce yourself to us because it's the first time for most of us to meet you, I think.
Yeah, so I'm affiliated with Gnosis, and I submitted a proposal not too long ago to implement a reward-based system, and then someone from Tech reached out. I believe it was NT. So that's how I discovered you guys. I've been a licensed attorney in the States for about 3 years now. Um, I'm part of a company called Skyem, who has a guild on Axie Infinity, and I've been doing some legal work for them for the past few months. So I'm somewhat familiar with the legal aspect of this space, or like the legal issues of this space. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This weekend, I will probably go to the Springs Preserve, which is like a desert area that's protected with like wildlife and plants and stuff like that. I'll probably do that this weekend. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Thanks.
Oh, and then let's see if I can pass it to.
Yes. Maybe let's pass it to our RX.
Okay, I'll pass it to RX then.
Hey, RX, are you there? Right, he's probably not on his laptop, but yeah, I'll just take it. And yeah, I want just on my plans for the weekend. I will be traveling. I will go back to Boracay again this weekend, but this time I'm bringing my mom and my sister and my nephew to like my post birthday celebration, and also my birthday gift to my mom because she also had her birthday last month. So yeah, so those are my plans. And once again, I want to welcome Bonju, and congratulations, Teresa, on your pregnancy. All right, so I think we can start. Jump into the agenda. And RX, if you're on the call, just feel free to hop in if you want to share about your plans for the weekend. All right, can everybody see my screen? All right, so okay, so the first is the legal funding proposal. So it's already now in the garden. So if you have TEC tokens, please show your support. So we can pass this proposal. So for everybody's information, and if you have read this proposal, so this we are requesting 10,000 RAP XDAI for like a contingency fund in case we need external legal support in the future. And we are also requesting 2,000 RAP XDAI for as retroactive bonus for previous legal contributors. And then for the future, for the future contributors, if there are any legal documents that we have to work on, they will be compensated through the reward system. So yeah, if you have TEC tokens, please show your support and vote for this proposal. All right, so that's the update, and I'm glad that Livia is here because we have finally published the terms and conditions.
Really quick before we move on, also please vote for the increase the exit tribute and decrease the entry tribute proposal. There's one more that everyone can vote on, and we need more quorum. So yeah, it's this other decision vote. So if you if you're voting right now, then go also vote on the decision vote at the bottom.
This one, right?
That one. Yeah, we need like another 3% of the total supply, so to pass this.
I voted for this. Yeah. So yeah, I'll do that also later after this call. All right. So yeah, the terms and conditions for the CV proposals are now on TEbook, and I think the next step here would be to add this or integrate this in the covenant. So the initial plan is just to add a statement in the covenant, and then just put a link to this to TEbook instead of adding the whole terms to the covenant. So and I saw that there's a ZenHub issue open for you, Livia, and I also have a ZenHub an issue open for me. So I don't know how we want to proceed with updating the covenant.
Yeah, there was a couple of other things that could be included in this covenant change. And then one of them was the time for proposals to stay in advice process. That was Griff suggested we just got what Giveth has that could work for us. And then yeah, now that we have this, we can just make these changes.
So it's all ready? Like, is this something that is the covenant up to date then with both the two things merged?
No, we need to edit them there. And then the last thing was something we discussed in SoftGov of putting some type of like graduated sanctions for lack of accountability. But I feel like, yeah, I didn't feel so sure how to do that, or what is something that would make sense. I don't know if you guys have thoughts.
So the question is, if someone passes a proposal and then just doesn't make any progress on it, doesn't make updates, what do we do?
Yeah, there's that case, and then there's the case of like, now that we included this metric in the proposal, like what if they deliver something that has nothing to do with the metric of success they had, and then people find that a problem like that. That's why it could be like graduated accountability sanctions. Or yeah, what do we do in each one of those instances?
Well, this is a great question for the lawyers. Yeah, Teresa.
Regarding that point, what I saw is that the code of conduct talks about accountability, and the code of conduct also has an enforcement part that it's basically in case someone doesn't complete the code of conduct, you can send a type form to gravity, and all of that. That could be like a way of enforcement because it's already in the code of conduct. So we won't need to like do something else. I don't know if that makes sense.
You think those accountability process is somehow included in the code of conduct already? That like just
It's,
not delivering would be a lack of conduct, and then
yes, exactly. It's like actually it's written there. Like you have to be accountable. Community members are expected to be accountable for their actions and commitments. Accountability brings trust, and trusting in each other, and it's crucial to our success. So it's like basically established there already. So it's like something that members of TEC should have to be like part of TEC. And since it's already written there, maybe I do think the enforcement part in the code of conduct it's very basic. So like maybe what could be done is just to like um do something else in the enforcement part of code of conduct. I don't know if this makes sense, but just to like help with that accountability also in the proposals.
yeah, that's a good point. I think it's mostly like a cultural dilemma of, yeah, you're right, it's already there. That feels good. That maybe we don't have to add anything else. But then how do we deal with those things? That feels like a challenge now. But then maybe it's out of the scope of this call. I don't know. Of like what would be the actual action? You know, like what would even gravity do? Like do we have some type of like, maybe this is included with the reputation? Like maybe if we have a reputation token and the person doesn't deliver, there could be like a rap slash.
Actually, I have another opinion on that. For example, for the term and conditions to submit a proposal, there's been the use of Celeste in case of any like situation there, or if you want to challenge a proposal or so. I would think like adding also like Celeste because I'm not completely sure about what everything that goes in Celeste, but I do follow Kleros. That's very similar, and they do have controversy. Like they just like have respect to controversies in different type of jobs in Web3. So like they like incorporate it into the platform. So like maybe that could be a way. I mean, I know it's like just like in case of like big controversies, because it's
Can I?
also like it also has a cost.
So yeah, Claris Court, we can use Claris Court as arbitrator, and then we can submit all disputes to them. I'm fairly familiar with Claris's platform. They use the Zodiac Reality mod, and so I don't know how difficult it would be to implement that kind of arbitration system, but like the speaker said, that is definitely one option.
I think the big friction there is when we pay people out, they just get the money. So we would have to make the proposal from the get-go go to some kind of like arbitration thing, right? Like the money wouldn't be just in their wallet.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's one of their main functions right now. Most platforms are using them as an escrow service, and that kind of seems like what you're talking about. So I think that would work too.
But so like I don't know, it's there's a lot of friction to requiring people to use an escrow service. I think it would be really nice to do, but it's not always going to happen. Like right now, already the TEacademy just got 50K, right? The working group just got this much money. So it's like, I think there's a variety of proposals, and it would be cool to get when accountability is scary, or like then we should use an escrow, right? But or request it in the thing. But for the scenarios where there is no escrow, I think that's where the scope is for the covenant. Because if there's an escrow, then there's clear accountability. Like, we don't need it more in the covenant. Would you agree with that, Livia?
Yeah, exactly. Like, understanding that we don't have an escrow now, what are the cultural approaches we can have to create a flow of accountability? And I think right now our community is very accountable, but I wonder, I don't know if if there are proposals that pass that are not people that are always hanging out here, or when it becomes too big that we start losing track of it.
Well, I think that's a good idea.
Go ahead, Teresa.
No, I just wanted to say I think that's a great question, because like it's true. Like I wanted to ask that, like, do people like do not complete what they're supposed to, but you're saying like everyone's like very accountable at this point. So maybe that's something that could be like further discussed. I know in SoftGov it's also a great place to discuss that. And then just like to bring the resolutions of SoftGov to legal, to like put them like in a legal way or so. But yes, that's basically that.
So in transparency audit, we have this portion, like we want to share the progress of the proposals that have received funding from the TEC. So I think that's one way to monitor them. But I'm thinking if it can be a possible solution, but this is gonna be for repeat proposals for the working groups, but not for projects. Like maybe we can make different terms and conditions for repeat proposals. If they want, like before they can submit another proposal, is that they should be they should pass some criteria first. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's possible to do.
Yeah, that would be one type of graduated sanction, for example, that we can include in the covenant. Like if you didn't deliver, then you can't submit another proposal until X happens. Things like that. And then we would just need to make sure that we have the capacity to monitor that, and that it doesn't feel like a surveillance monitoring, you know. And I think you and Zap are really good at that, at like not making you feel that way. And what are ways we can just make it transparent and like communicate with people that are submitting proposals often. I'll take a note of that. That sounds like one sanction. And then just for curiosity, how hard it is to have an escrow mechanism.
What do you mean, how hard? I mean, it's simple, I would say. We make the recipient address, the escrow, and then we just have to set the escrow up before making the proposal. I mean, the escrow could be as simple as a multi-sig with a reviewer, you know? Or it could be some kind of contract through Claros, or an unbreakable vow, which should be easy to add in when they sort that out, and that would use Celeste.
So that's something we're looking towards, like for the future, to have something like that.
I think if someone who doesn't have much trust applies for money in the TC, then we should probably request that
but I feel like that could be weird socially, right? If just a certain people were requested to use an escrow.
Well, it's also a lot of overhead, though, right? I mean, it's a trust mitigation. So, I mean, yeah, it's weird, but it's like, hey, who are you? Have never heard of you. You say you're going to do this TE thing. Well, that's cool. How do we know you're not just going to run away with the money? Because running away with the money, that's what killed Genesis DAO, right? Or that's like was the tipping point.
I think
Yeah,
it's
maybe we can have that. Go ahead.
sorry. I think it's very practical, and I think you can do it in such a way where it's non-discriminatory. Just have very explicit standards, whether it's in the covenant use that in certain scenarios you're going to be held to a different standard for X, Y, and Z. So, like if someone's submitting for a large amount of money, it's their first proposal, and they don't have the reputation tokens you guys use, they don't have a certain threshold, then that could trigger a higher standard, and I think most users will understandable that it's to protect the assets of the DAO, etc. So I think it can be implemented in a way that doesn't affect the current culture, and I'm hopeful most people will understand why we implement the thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. That we could create some type of something there with the reputation token and give it more of an use, not just for voting, but also for like maybe if you have X number of rep, you can submit a proposal without an escrow.
Exactly, that's
And below
exactly what.
them.
Yeah, we have like the thresholds based on reputation tokens that gives people different different or different latitude in doing certain things.
Okay. So all right. So for the covenant, Livia, can you share in the issue the document that you're working on, so we can also add our inputs? Or I mean, how do we update it? Do we have an editable version?
Yeah, I didn't start working on it yet, but I will put the latest we have in the document and share in the issue.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks. Should I just close the one that I opened for myself because there are duplicates? Are you taking this on? But I will integrate here the terms and conditions for CV proposals.
Yeah, we can open maybe an exception to Tam's rule and add both of us to this issue.
Okay, gonna close this one. Just make it here. I'm just gonna add myself here. All right. Okay, so can we move on to the next point of the agenda? If there's anything else, if there's nothing else that you want to talk about the covenant. All right. Okay, so I'll just go to the other Zenhub issues. So Teresa has jumped into a lot of issues here. He has provided comments and suggestions on some of the pending issues that we have. So I guess she has made progress in the content ownership. So Let me find it. Just find the link. Teresa, I need access so I can share it.
Oops, it's private.
Yes. Or do you want to talk about it and maybe you want to share your screen since you're owning this document?
I already accepted you,
Okay.
but I'm gonna screen it. I'm gonna put it so that everyone can see it. Wait, I don't know how to do that, but I'll find it out. No, it's basically a content agreement. It's just like for everyone that submits content of any type, like anything to TSC, either it's paid or not. Well, that was a question actually. Yeah. So like when you're not getting like any remuneration, I think yes, it should be included. That that TC that they definitely take it down. So like the TC try to keep that information. Of course, if you made it, it's yours. You keep like the rights or so. But it becomes part of TC as well, and you grant them like a specialty of like the rights to just like use them and everything. So it's basically that. So right now I'm just like establishing the parts, like what's the content, what are the intellectual property rights, what's a contributor, what's the content you cannot include, the prohibited content, and I included the prohibited content just like in case like someone like publishes something like it's from a third party and like if someone has like the rights of that just to like protect TC of the legal implication that could arise. Uh, and then I haven't included the part that in case of controversy, what should we do? My options were like either gravity, back to like the code of conduct, and the other thing is like I always put in contracts in my day to day. It's obviously like the legislation that's applicable, but like for the TC, I know it's not like registered anywhere. So I was thinking, I don't know if this makes sense, but I know like the common build is registered in as a Swiss association. So like I don't know if like the TC can be linked to that or not. I think not, but it's just like a general question I had regarding that part. And the other question I had, obviously, like a lot of questions are gonna arise regarding this that I'll love to hear from you guys. The other questions I had, just like if I should like just make it as like some terms and conditions, or it should be signed by the members that create content or have created any proposal or so for the TC, but it'll be just like signed by them. Like maybe like here, BCAP, Bonjour, I'm sorry, could help us with his insight regarding this part.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to. I kind of want to dive deeper into it before I give you my thoughts. Um, but on the surface, I think my gut reaction is to actually I don't know because there's pros and cons to having users sign it. So yeah, if you can send me what you have and then I can give you my thoughts in a few days.
Yes, it's like for me, like the pro would be like in case of litigation, you have like something that's signed, but like probably this won't go to litigation because there's like no place where you can like litigate it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
that would be like, uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know if tech has if they use a legal wrapper or not. Do you know?
No, they
No,
don't
we
do.
don't.
Yeah, so then I don't know what geographic location country would have jurisdiction over a lawsuit. But we could use it for other purposes if we have people have a digital signature. But I don't. It's so complex. I don't even know what the
Man,
implications of that.
a lot of this is also social, right? It's like reputation. What legal is like, yeah, some enforcement stuff, but even without the legal, we don't want someone coming in saying, "Yo, I made that meme," and you're using it without my permission. And it's like, well, oh shit, dude. I thought you put it in the Discord. I thought that was cool. We tweeted it. I mean, and then like, you know, it erupts on social media without there being lawsuits necessarily. So how do we just, and I feel like a lot of our legal situation is also just like social expectations.
Right. So in that sense, it's more of like an attribution scheme. We don't want to not give credit where credit's due. So in that sense, if we have content creators, for example, just one use case, if we have content creators sign off on their IP rights, whatever that means in this space, because there's no pretty much no enforceability, their IP rights to the DAO, you know, and then we use it, it blows up, and they want to receive some kind of like compensation, for example. Then there should be a way to tie that user to that content that he created. So in that sense, yeah, I think it'd be very helpful to have some kind of like tracing mechanism.
So my question here is, if the contributor needs to sign the agreement, like who will be signing on behalf of TEC?
I thought it should be like a unilateral contract, like no one has to sign for TC, because I do follow the what Griff said, that it's more like of a social thing, because like it's probably not gonna go to litigation. I don't know what's your point on this, Bonjour.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Oh no, what I meant is like it could be just like used as a form of, and in Spanish it's like contrato de adhesión, where just like one of the parts signs a contract and agrees to the terms of the other part. And just like the signature gives like a lot of like a much more I don't know how to call it, compromise yourself.
Yeah. So I think, and Griff might know more about this than I do. I think Zodiac Rally. Maybe we can integrate Claros or some other platform similar to Claros, and then I think they have like a reality bond game, a bonding mechanism where the default answer is yes. So in this case, the default answer would be yes, and then people have the opportunity to challenge that. Does that make sense?
What would be the user experience of getting people to opt into that?
Yeah, so I don't think it'd be a very good user experience. So you sacrifice experience for security, and that's the trade-off that I mean we should all talk about. It seems like we want to go more streamlined, like user experience-wise. So if that's the case, I don't know. I would like to brainstorm and apply some thought to this.
Yes, like my only issue with Kleros is like the cost, because it's quite expensive. So like I'm not sure if everyone's gonna agree to like pay for gas for that, and I don't know how they work, but like regarding that point about the expenses that could arise.
Well, I think they have the option where you can bring off-chain votes on-chain. So maybe that's an option. So yeah.
I wonder if we could have some type of disclaimer or something in the covenant that everything you produce, like everything you're sharing openly in TEC channels, is that the TEC has a right to use it unless you explicitly say no.
But I mean, they can sign it. Like, for example, if they when they join Discord, before they join Discord, they have to check this. Yeah, like put a check mark, and then that they agree to the terms of using the TC channel. But they can say that that they allow us to use it, but do we mention something like whatever they put on Discord is already owned by TEC, and then and if they decide to leave the TEC, and then can they take also that away from a TEC? Those content.
Yeah, I don't think owned by the T. Yeah, I don't think owned by the TEC is the right terminology. I think if like we're all open source, and if we bring like transparency, open source, everything here is open for everyone, then yeah, understanding that if there are things related to the TC that are interesting for TC's promotion, that we can use it because we're all producing this content like together here under this platform. And that we can use. I think there was a real use case that opened that issue. That was someone left the TC, and then a lot of the content they had produced, they didn't want to have available in the TC anymore. But that content was not only they had produced. Like there was the work of many people involved in that, and a lot of the knowledge production for that was based on the TEC too. So I think we're just wanting to protect ourselves from things like that, right?
I think that
Yeah, exactly.
it's a positive framing that the content created is open source rather than rather than it belongs to the TEC. But what about in cases where we have one sole creator? I, I think we should still have that open source clause or something to that effect. But maybe we can have some kind of I don't know, compensation scheme.
Well, we do have a compensation scheme that is the reward system.
Oh, right. So there we go.
Okay, so this is the document that Teresa is working on. So okay, where is that part exactly, Teresa, that you were asking about?
What part? There are a lot of questions.
And sorry, I can't understand this part. Sorry.
It's like, yeah, let me. There are some things in Spanish, but there'll be in English. Yeah. I have a question. Well, maybe like regarding what you guys were saying, I do think it's a great thing to just have like that in the covenant, like say like everything's open source, and maybe like for more commitment, or to say a word, also have the written document so that people can sign. I have a question. So like it's the majority thinks people should sign this, or this should be posted only.
I also have the same question because I feel like there are so many contributors coming in, and it would be hard
So
to.
They do sign the code of conduct when they join the Discord, and they also sign the code of conduct when they vote in the gardens, or the covenant when they vote in the gardens. It's hard to have them sign anywhere else, but there are tools to make people sign things on GitHub if we want to implement that as well, like a contributor agreement form. But yeah, I mean, they do have, if they enter the Discord, they have to sign something, and that's where a lot of the content is produced. The one that's toughest is the forum, probably. Like if someone makes a really nice informative post on the forum, they might be able to delete it, but then maybe we can undelete it, and then there becomes a battle there, and there's no real way to make. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Discourse has a plugin or something that makes people sign it before they do have to like register their account, I guess, and sign in. And it could be something that we email to them. Any of your content here is open source and Creative Commons and can persist if we want it to. I don't know. But people do have to sign things, like just to get access.
Yeah, and just for that forum problem, I think it's very rare that someone would be in the forum and wouldn't be on Discord. So they would have signed that anyways.
What about on Medium and YouTube? The articles that we publish on Medium. Oh.
Again, I feel like the writers would be at least in the Discord. I think Olivia makes a strong point. It's really weird. It would be really weird for anyone to contribute meaningfully to the TC without at least being in our Discord.
Okay. So once this document is ready, then we'll just add it to this list that they have to sign on Discord when they join. Is that right?
I have a question. When you mean just like clicking and say like yes, right? Or like an actual signature? I just have that question.
Yeah, I had the same question as well.
What's the question?
That when you mean that you're gonna sign in, they're gonna like tick a box and say like, okay, I accept, or
Yeah.
it doesn't imply that's what does my sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it?
Yeah, they tick a box.
They just take a
Okay.
box. They're not signing with their wallet. Signing a transaction with their wallet. No. Okay.
Okay. The other thing is like I think this would be also added when someone makes a proposal that's maybe like more formal. This could be just like added as one of the things they have to do in order to like get the money from PVC.
That's true. I mean, they do have to sign stuff with their wallet to be part of the praise system.
Yeah, I think once we understand how this reputation token will look like, that could be something we add to the praise system. Like whenever people are going to sign up, they also understand that they're signing up for a rep system and what that means.
Okay. So Teresa, do you still have other questions or questions about your document that you want to clarify with the team?
Just make a few edits, like put the things in Spanish and English and all of that. And so like I can put it in the Discord or where do you comment or in the agenda or so, and people can just like review it and add the things they think are correct, the things that are missing, and all of that.
I think it would be easier to just add the comments here in the document. So we only look at one document at the same time, instead of going back and forth from the agenda.
Oh no, of course. I just meant like where's the link gonna be?
I'm sorry?
I just meant like where's the link gonna be so that people can like be able to see it.
Yeah, I think I can add this link to the agenda and also on GitHub. It would be nice if we can drop the link in the GitHub issue also.
Thank you.
All right, and then there's another one. I think it is related to content ownership. So I wonder if we still need a different. I think this is the standards, the third-party standards. There is already a work in progress, a document that's work in progress. But when I read this, I feel like it's related to content ownership. What do you think, Teresa? Should this be
Yeah, I think the other one, it's the other one regarding the third party usage of the applications. I do think it's the same. And the other part that may not be the content ownership, I think it's already in the TEC agreements where they talk about Discord, they talk about GitHub and other ways you have to conduct in this third party applications.
So this can go to a Gitbook. It doesn't have to get signed by anyone. I mean, it doesn't have to be signed, right?
I mean, but I saw it's already in GitHub, in there. But I don't think another document would be needed for that as well because they already have the standards and the TC agreements. Plus, like this part that's going to include the content ownership, it's going to be in another document. So, like, I don't think it's going to be that needed. I don't know if someone has a different view.
This is the last comment that the previous contributor made about this document, and it's somehow related to content ownership. So I don't know if we can just proceed with this as it is and post it somewhere, or do we still need to deal with this issue? Because I feel like this can be addressed in the content ownership document. What do you think? Teresa?
Oh, I thought you were asking someone else. No, I think it's great what you're saying. Yes.
So we can just go ahead with this one, since this is already being addressed in the content ownership agreement, right? Or is there
Yes.
is there anything else that you want to change in the standards?
It's like what I said. It's like those are already included in the other in the course that in the community, all of that in GitHub. They already have like Discord, and like you shouldn't be doing this in Discord, or you shouldn't be doing that in GitHub or in the forum. So it will be like to duplicate what already is in the TC. I'll send you the links of the things I'm saying.
I think I have it in I think it's the platform code of conduct that we have on Gitbook already. So this is gonna be a duplicate. Okay, I'll look for that later. And I think there's another issue that I feel like will be critical soon if we have a secondary market. Where is it? I think this one, the legal implications of revenues. So, I don't know, Griff, maybe they want to talk about this more and give us more context. Oh, you're muted.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know, like, how, if this is an issue, but what happens if let's say we throw a conference and we sell tickets, and a percentage of the ticket sales goes to the common pool. The rest goes to a multi-sig that is used to pay for the conference. Or, any money that's left over from the multi-sig just goes to the common pool. Is that a problem? Is there anything that we should think about for, actually using our DAO structure to create revenue? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah, there are legal implications because there's a real world applicability in this case. You're having a concert or a meeting in a physical location, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you'll be under the jurisdiction of wherever that meeting is taking place.
So let's say, okay, so let's say there's two ways of doing it. We have a conference that has all its legal issues, and then we have a multi-sig that got funded from the TEC to make this conference happen. And there's two scenarios. One scenario, we just make sure to spend all the money that we receive from ticket sales, and it's like a nonprofit thing. No, scenario two, we actually try to make money, and whatever money we have left over from ticket sales goes to the DAO. Is there any legal differences between the two scenarios that we should be aware of?
So I'm not specialized in this area, but nonprofits have a different tax structure than for-profit companies. That's one thing that first comes to mind. I'm sure there's different like legal structures with both entities. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
So basically, if we raise more money than we spent, then we might have to pay taxes in somewhere.
Correct. Most likely in the place where the event is taking place, because you're under the laws of their jurisdiction. Typically, DAOs, it's this gray area right now because there's no center and there's no key players. But in this case, if you're gonna host the event like physically IRL, you're definitely gonna be subject to the laws of wherever it's taking place.
So, okay. So yeah,
Now,
we might have to pay.
enforceability is another aspect too. I don't know if there were issues to arise, how would they enforce that? I'm not quite sure.
I was also going to just jump in. It depends on how, if you make it so explicitly a quid pro quo, you do this for that. It's different than if you say, just give a general donation and, give suggested donation, this amount, and you have an event and they're sort of separate.
Buy this NFT and only people with the NFT can get in. But you're buying an NFT. You're buying the NFT in the digital world, but you can only have access to this space if you have that NFT.
It was a bit like the Buffett coin, right? The Buffett coins a bit did that. They were like you didn't have to eat it to get in the event, but you had to get into this one. You had certain access rights. Is that like a ticket? Is that closer to a ticket than like a donation? And that's like your just coming to a charity event, like you're validated as a charity event? I think it just depends on how you describe it a bit.
I think it's more akin to the BAYC situation, where like you're invited to these exclusive events if you hold that NFT. And I'm sure, well, not sure, but there might be precedent in that regard. There might have been some like legal discussion with regard to that. So I can do some research into that and see if we can adopt a similar model, or if we need to make like some minor changes. We can consider that too later.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, I imagine that we can also just avoid this issue by avoiding direct revenue from in real life events and try to keep our revenue in other forms. But it would be interesting to hear if there's some sort of loophole that the Bored Ape Yacht Club is using to do that kind of thing, and that should be fine. That would be really interesting. And if you find anything, I don't know if you have used this like GitHub very often, but we just put it in these issues. That way we can keep track of everything.
Yeah, where can I get access to this GitHub?
Ivy, do you have this link?
Yeah, I can. You can give me your GitHub handle, and I will add you to the repository. Bonjour.
Yeah. You don't even need to add content to the issue. To make issues, you have to be in the repo, but just to add content, I think he just needs a link.
Okay, I'll DM you later.
Okay. Thanks. And yeah, the link to this issue is also in the agenda, so you can access it here. All right, so I think we have only 1 minute left. So is there anything else that we want to discuss before we wrap up the call?
No, thanks, Ivy. This is really a fun call. There was lots of interesting discussions.
Yes, thanks for all the lawyers joining us. We have more lawyers now than in the past calls. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and I'll see you again in the next call.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks, Ivy.
Ivy.
Thanks,
guys.
Griff.
Thank you all.
Thanks.